Hi guys, Labour is supposed to be the party of the worker. So while some changes to employment legislation has been talked about, what we would hope is that the new government would stick to those promises and improve conditions of workers and their protections. A bill that's passing through Parliament at the moment would include the ending of Fire and Rehire, which entered the mainstream when P&O ferries used it back in 2022. However, the new Labour government wants to improve its relationship with business, and the CBI seems to think that ending Fire and Rehire should be reconsidered. Something that was attacked by Mick Lynch, the General Secretary of the RMT. Have a listen to what he had to say when he appeared before a committee this week.
At this morning's evidence session, Matthew Percival from the CBI said that fire and rehire proposals in this bill risk making redundancy easier than negotiating contract changes. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, defending fire and rehire, or fire and replace, is what P&O was. There's two versions of it. Is defending the immoral. Maybe the CBI knows a thing or two about immoral behaviour. I don't know, but I don't know why they would be standing up against that. We negotiate contract changes all of the time, and the great problem with P&O, they deceived us. They told us that they were going to negotiate change for new technology, new vessels, new ways of working. There probably would have been some job losses, I understand, and we would have dealt with that under normal process. They decided to sabotage that because it was quicker, and they wanted to get imported foreign labour onto those vessels at £4 and £5 an hour rather than a collective agreement. So I don't see good employers struggling with that. I don't see decent businesses struggling with negotiating contract changes, staffing level changes, new technology agreements, which we're all going to need right across business. And indeed, we will talk to the FDS about that, hopefully in the near future, and Stena and all the other good shipping companies. We're talking about it on the railway. Every trade unionist that will come in front of any of you will say, we're constantly negotiating change. At the end of the Second World War, my union had 500,000 members. The railway employed 1.2 million people. That has obviously changed. We had sectoral collective bargaining all through that, and most employers had never heard of fire and rehire. You can retool an economy inside collective arrangements. Our European partners have shown us that if you refit your economy based on consensus and change and looking after people that have to leave, you'll get a more successful business. If you just guillotine the whole process, your reputation is going to be in ruin. So I don't accept the CBI's position. They were probably against the Health and Safety at Work Act, the Sex Equality Act. All of these acts have brought impacts on business, and no doubt the Factories Act was a bit burdensome for the mill owners and the mining companies of this country. Everything is difficult for a business, but you've got to live inside the regulations in a democracy.
Well said, so well said. It's always a pleasure to listen to Mick Lynch. I disagree with him on Brexit, but on everything else, I'm in complete agreement. And he's completely correct here. Every time something new comes in, businesses throw up their hands and say, "Oh, this is impossible. We need to stay as we are. We need to maintain the status quo." When it came to, as he pointed out, legislation over the last 100 years to improve the rights of workers, has been rejected by businesses. They have said, no, we can't go down this road. It's going to destroy industry. And recent examples, of course, being the minimum wage, or increases to the minimum wage, or introduction of protections for workers, is always resisted. But then good businesses, as Mick has also pointed out, adapt to these changes. And they actually benefit, because if the employees are happy, they're more productive. We constantly think that business only thrives if there's a race to the bottom. Some businesses benefit from that. But in the long term, as a society, we want to have workers who are happy, and if they're happy, they're productive. We can't go backwards. Now, the Tories tried to go backwards over the last 14 years, cutting protections for workers, standing on the sidelines while fire and rehire took place. We remember back in 2022, and I highlighted it before a number of times, how the Tories stood up in the House of Commons and complained and lambasted P&O ferries, but did nothing about it because they're on the side of big business. And the Tories were supportive of a race to the bottom. Look at what Brexit is all about, a race to the bottom. But in order to have growth, in order to have a functioning society, you need to have workers who are productive, and if they're happy, they're productive. So Mick is completely correct here. The CBI and other organizations will resist change, but they know deep down that good businesses will adapt to change and will succeed. Poor businesses will fail. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.